as you see from the start of the video, this is a video that I'm directing to my younger self. So if it sounds like you're in the same shoes as I once was, then please listen, okay? And this is going to be a story about how I've overcame many challenges, how I've leveled up for many things back when I was 16 to 18, now. And so a little preview, I guess. 13 years of my life, I was playing soccer. I was so destined. I felt like I was destined to become a professional soccer player. Like, I actually wanted to play that. I felt that was my purpose, right? That's what I wanted to do here. And I just loved it. I love playing. And, I'm playing. And then throughout my years, I began to, like, slowly lose love for it. Like, just for playing. I loved the sport, but playing, it felt more of like a job. It felt like something I had to do. I didn't actually really enjoy it, And so I was like, well, what do I want to do? I sat down one day because I wasn't performing too well in my soccer. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here saying I was the best player. Well, I was pretty good, but I don't know. Like, I really felt like it was mainly forced on me by my parents, and they never really realized that until I actually quit. And for them, that was the biggest deal. They never wanted me to quit. They were like, David, like, why? What are you gonna do now? You're gonna go to college. You're gonna work a job for the rest of your life. Like, I know you don't want to do that. Play soccer. And I told them, I was like, no, I don't want to play soccer anymore. But in the back of my mind, I always wanted to retire them because they had me at such a young age. They sacrificed their 20s to, raise me. You know what I mean? So I always felt like I want to retire them. I want to get rid of their financial struggles like that. And so, of course, they don't. I mean, I would always tell them, like, I want to retire you guys. I want to go pro, like, retire you guys. But of course, once that whole thing went away, they sort of looked at it as like I'm giving up in life. And I didn't really see it like that because I was sort of introduced into, like, the whole entrepreneur space online, and that's what I felt like I want to do. I wanted to become an entrepreneur, drive the fast cars, whatever it is. That I was exposed to that by social media, which is a blessing and a curse. I'll tell you why. And so I told him, I was like, look, like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to play soccer. I want to do my own thing. I told him that straight up because I was tired of it. I was tired of being forced to play soccer. And so I told him, like, I'm going to get a part-time job now. I'm going to work to gain some cash flow, fund my business. Did I know where it was going to start? Heck no. Did I know what to do? Heck no. But it was a risk I was willing to take because, one, I was so young. I was like junior year, maybe sophomore. Nah, whatever. And I was just like, I felt so determined. I had that drive into me. I still want to retire them. I still want to be able to live that free and abundant life because that's what I saw as footballers played as well, soccer players. And so time goes on, right? I tell them that, and they're like, heck no. Get a job. Work for the rest of your life. Go to school. And obviously, in that hindsight, I was pissed. I was like, why are you telling me this? Like, I want to do what I wanted to do. Why are you telling me what to do? And in reality, of course, they were just looking out for me because they don't know any better. And so, if y'all watching this, my bad. But, and so we became sort of distant for a little while, like, for like a month, 2 months. Like, they wouldn't talk to me. Like, I don't think they realized because I would go downstairs, I would eat, and then I just wouldn't talk anything, and I just go upstairs because they were pissed. They wanted me to keep playing, my mom especially. And my dad was more like, well, what are you going to do now? You still got to get out of here eventually. And one thing he didn't want me to do, he didn't want me to become like a slob. And I was like, look, like, I'll never become that. Like, I promise you I'll make it. And of course, that was a big promise. And did I truly believe it was going to happen? I had so many doubts, so much fear. And I know I was only 16, but it was like, my dad was talking about when I'm 18 or 19 or 20, whatever, I'm going to be kicked out. And I was like, well, what if I don't get it working by then? And so there's always that fear, And so I'm moving down the line. I'm getting my money, going to my part-time job at a supermarket. And a couple months in, it's like summertime. And it was actually funny. I was talking to my girlfriend at the time on FaceTime. And, I know you guys know Iman Gadzhi, like one of the most infamous entrepreneurs out there. And it was releasing Educate, which was, at that time, my way out. And it was $1,000, which to me, I was like, well, that's a lot. But my girlfriend at the time, she was like, well, the money's always gonna come back. Why not try? And I always am so grateful for that. Like, every single day, I'm so glad she told me to do it. So I bought it, $998 wiped. Not wiped. It was actually the best investment I made in myself. Because yes, I went into there, I was trying to create an agency for like dang near 6 months. And so I think I'm 17 at the time. So at that time, I'm working. I'm trying to get this thing working. I'm trying to get this agency working, but I never felt good. Like, yes, I was doing an agency thing. Yes, I was trying to become an entrepreneur and do an online business, but I never felt like it was meant for me. And so it felt more of like a force. Like I was pushing, grinding, like doing the cold calls, doing the outreaches, setting up different systems, watching the videos that I truly didn't really feel aligned to. And it was until I met this guy named John Gabb on one of his mindset calls, and I promise you, he was like heaven sent, because he was a man of God, and he was talking about your mind and who you are internally. That's what tripped. Like that's what flipped the switch in me. Because I realized, like, he was telling me, he was like, it's not the business model. It's not the amount of money you're making. It's not all these external things. It's who you are inside is what's going to make you feel better. It's what's going to have you attract different things. And of course, it sounded a little bit like woo stuff, because like he was talking about vibrations, frequencies, and stuff like that. But when I began to like really invest my time into him, and one of my educated friends actually introduced me to him. I don't remember his name, unfortunately. We don't talk too much. But hey, end of the day, he helped me. So thank you, whoever you are. But during those times when I was digging deep and really trying to figure out, like, okay, what is this frequency, energy, this internal self and everything? Like, what does that mean? That's when I got closer to God. That's when I realized, like, God is working with me. He's working for me. And so I started getting a little bit closer to him. And so during this time, I'm still with my girl. January hits, we break up. It was the end of the world for me. Like, I promise you, I was hurt. And I truly felt like it was because God noticed that I would rely too much on her. And I think she realized that too. And I never realized that. And so when we broke up, like, I was cooked. Like, I promise you, it was the hardest thing for me. I remember it was one day, because during senior year, I went in one day and wasn't in the other. Like, it was every other day I went in. It wasn't dumb or anything like that, but it was just, I already finished everything I needed to do, so whatever. And so it was one of those days where I didn't have school. And I was like, at home, I'm trying to do my entrepreneur stuff, I'm trying to become, like, be a better person, but that hurt. And honestly, it put me in shambles. But that's when I got closer to God. That was like a flip. I was like, God, I need you. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've been avoiding you. I'm sorry I haven't really been talking to you, really taking time out of my day to read your word, whatever it is. And I went fully in with God. And then God showed me John and his community. It was perfect timing. I was like, this is too much of a coincidence for it not to be from God. And I was like, I'm in the thing now. It's called Brotherhood God. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool. But probably the best decision I made in my life, behind getting closer to God. Or below, whatever. And so John helped me a lot. And one day, when I meet him, I promise you I'm going to meet him one day. I don't know why. I've always envisioned that. I want to meet him, talk to him, say my thanks. But he helped me through so much, and he doesn't even realize. Like, becoming a better person, being that person, being the person who wakes up in the morning, being that disciplined person, staying consistent, loving himself, loving the journey, letting go of the outcome, all these different things that I preach about on my YouTube, preach about on my TikTok, Instagram, and all that. Be sure to follow that. But all those different things, like, he taught me, God taught me. I gained wisdom from all of that. And it built me a better foundation than when I was a month prior to that. And so it was tough. I promise you it was tough. That day after me and her broke up, like, it's a day not to remember, because it was bad. And I wasn't on some, like, fortunately, thank God, like, fortunately, I wasn't on, like, that stuff. And so I was still able to, like, find myself, which was blissful. But if any of that sounds the same as you guys, I promise you, the only way I got out of that situation where I didn't feel fulfilled, I was chasing something, I was forcing something, my parents doubted me, my family doubted me, was I found God. And I found my purpose, and I found what really aligned to me. And I talk about more about my story on my Instagram. On my stories, I talk about it a lot. I always say, like, what I go through. I give people advice on a daily, and that's where people message me. That's how I talk to people. I'm helping 2 people right now, actually, with their life. You know, how to become a better person, giving them advice, just free advice, because I want to help people. That's what I'm called on this earth to do. And so, if you have made it this far in this video, glad you have. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. DM me with any questions. I'm here to help just as much as John helped me, just as much as God helped me. And I hope you guys had a blissful day. But God bless. Follow me later. No. Catch you guys later.